Hello, everybody.
Mr. Metcalf, are you there?
Hi, Judge.
Hi. We're getting your client, and I didn't see you, and you're muted, so I didn't know if you were in another hearing or.
No, I've got a client that I was meeting it to, so I was just kind of helping him with a few things while I waited. So trying to make use of the time. So
Thank you. All right, this is case number 2024 CR 84, City of Kansas versus Ricky Mitchell, who appears via Zoom with counsel. Mr. Metcalf.
thank you, Judge. I had a chance to meet with Mr. Mitchell. As you know, he's in custody. I have not had a chance to talk with the county attorney's office yet because I was just appointed on this. So I have not verified his criminal history. But from visiting with him, I don't believe he has any prior person felonies on his record. I would ask the court to consider an OR bond for Mr. Mitchell. He has obviously been in custody for a little while. He does have a residence in the Kingman area. He does have some family there, although I think a lot of the family support may be incarcerated at this point. He does not have any funds or anyone to help him get any funds to secure a professional surety bond. If my understanding of his criminal history is correct, he would fall in a presumptive probation range. Again, I have not confirmed that with the county attorney's office, nor have I had an opportunity to review all the discovery. Mr. Mitchell is concerned that he is going to lose his residence. He's got a car payment due. He's got utilities due. I believe he received some disability, and so if he stays in custody, that may stop as well. So those are kind of the concerns we have. I hate to hit the county attorney's office with this cold and the court with this cold, but again, I just got arrested, and with him being in custody, I was hoping the court would take up that issue. In any event, I know judicial conferences are next week, so I would need to set the matter out at least 2 weeks, regardless of what the court decides.
All right, thank you. Mr. Ricky, do you have a position on this?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I was talking to the county attorney, Mr. Ricky.
Oh,
sorry. You're Ricky Mitchell. So Mr. Ricky is the county attorney. So,
Your Honor, I was just looking through the file to see, it looks like the bond is at 50,000 cash or commercial surety right now. Similar to the other case, but a little different, in that Mr. Ricky Mitchell didn't commit an act of violence, but he did at least allegedly obstruct law enforcement. The court's read the affidavits about the steps that were required to execute a court-ordered arrest and search warrant for the residence. So the same concern exists regarding Mr. Mitchell's willingness to avail himself to the court or follow court orders if he is released. So I don't know that an OR bond is appropriate. The state is not opposed to a reduction of some form to the bond, hopefully to put it within reach so that Mr. Mitchell can get out, but the state would like some assurance that he will be present for future court appearances if he is released.
okay, and just to add to something Mr. Metcalf says, is this a presumptive probation case? Or
the charge would be, and I do not have Mr. Mitchell's criminal history. This wasn't a charge that, it's not an escalating charge, so it's not one that we needed prior to deciding whether or not to file. It's an interference, so a level 9, I believe, which unless he is at least criminal history B, I believe, puts him in a probation box, but again, I do not know Mr. Mitchell's criminal history.
Okay, so, what, and then Mr. Metcalf, do you have a response to that? Do you have a rebuttal?
Yeah, I would just say I don't believe that he has any combination of misdemeanors that would result in a misdemeanor conversion to get him to Class B. I have tried to look online the best I can, and I've talked to Mr. Mitchell. So I really don't believe that he's going to fall in that presumptive imprisonment range. He was not on any kind of supervision, to my knowledge, again, from talking to him. So I don't believe there's going to be any special rules. So in the firearm related case, there's no special rule like that. This is, as Mr. Ricky said, it's not an escalating offense or one that has priors that cause it to be presumptive imprisonment. So I think if the court doesn't grant an OR bond, I probably just for his sake probably need to get the matter set for prelim. Not that I want to do that right now, but just because I think it may be even if convicted, a 5, 6, 7 month sentence, and I don't want to push this out too far.
Okay. All right. And this is a similar kind of situation that he's got with his co-defendants in that the charge, and according to the what's put in the affidavit, is Mr. Ricky Mitchell failed to comply with a court order, and he's charged with interference and obstruction. And it worries me that he won't follow the orders of this court. But what I'm going to do is I will modify his bond to $5,000 cash or surety, and which is a significant, it's 1/10 of what it was. And then order that if he does make a surety bond, that he can that he is to report to court services for bond supervision, follow all the recommendations of the court services officer, and that he not have any contact with any witnesses or co-defendants in the case. Is there anything? And let's set this. So you want to set this for a preliminary hearing?
Judge, when would be the soonest we could set this? If I just set it for one more docket appearance and visit with Mr. Ricky?
It'd be 2 weeks. It'd be the 17th.
Okay, realistically, I think that's probably fine because I have a jury trial coming up and I have several bench trials coming up. So realistically, it would probably be 6 weeks before I could get to Kingman for a preliminary hearing anyway. So why don't we just go to the 17th if that works for you, Judge, and if that works for Mr. Ricky?
Okay. So we'll continue this until and you all are available on the,
Yes.
you don't have any conferences or anything coming up. So we'll set this for 1:30 on October 17th.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, counsel.
Have a good day, guys.
And we've got one other defendant except her. I don't see her attorney online. So if you'll just kind of hang out there for a second, I'm going to take up some others, and we will get back to you as soon as we hear from the attorney.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, we're just going to take up some other cases. We're still waiting on the attorney.
Do you want me to leave?
No, you can just hang out there in case she comes in, and then we'll.
Okay.
Okay. And I had talked to Ms. George yesterday, and she was going to call the clerk's office and get the Zoom information.
Wolf said that she was out of the office today.
Well, I know she was going to appear via Zoom. Okay. So I don't know we will try to contact her and maybe get you back online later today, or and see when we can do this. See when we can do this hearing, and we'll keep trying. We'll keep trying to get in touch with her.
Okay.
With her attorney. This is the first assignment we've had, and so we'll get this taken care of. I know she was going to get Zoom information and appear, so we will tell Ms. Barkley to be patient, and we'll get her taken care of.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right, we're ready for Mr. Mitchell.
Which one?
Sorry, we're ready for Mr. Samuel Mitchell.
Okay.
I did the same thing the other day, Judge. So, Bob, I thought I'd tell you real quick that I promised my file's as light as yours is. I had a conversation with law enforcement yesterday about getting additional information swiftly. So hopefully that will happen, and I'll get that to you.
Well, I did get some things, but it's mostly affidavits and things of that nature, so.
Yeah, and that's what I have. I've been pressing on videos and things like that, so.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead with this. This is case number 2024 CR 83, State of Kansas versus Samuel Mitchell, who appears in custody via Zoom with counsel. Mr. Slinkard.
Thank you, Your Honor. Of course, Mr. Mitchell would like to get his bond reduced, and we probably ought to go ahead and schedule this matter for a prelim, knowing that both of our calendars are going to be a little bit full, and by then, hopefully, the state will have the discovery materials.
All right. So do you have any arguments to make on bond?
Pretty much the same arguments I've made the last two times, Your Honor. He's a citizen of Kingman. He's not a flight risk. We understand that this is alleged to be a violent offense, but we believe there's circumstances that will be brought out at preliminary hearing concerning that issue. And bonds are to ensure the safety of the public and to ensure that the defendant shows up to court. They're not meant to be something that can only be paid by wealthy people.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Richa.
And Your Honor, once again, similar to counsel, I don't want to kind of necessarily beat a dead horse here. We've talked about the severity of the offense, the presumptive nature of prison in this particular case, and the defendant's history, increasing that. It is $250,000. I realize that's probably well beyond the means of the defendant, but for this nature of crime, I don't think it's out of line.
Okay. And Mr. Slinker, do you have anything to add? Is this your motion?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And we've been over this several times. And I realize that bond is not meant to be punitive, but I do think that this bond is in line with other bonds that I've set for similar offenses because of the dangerousness. One, the dangerousness of the charge, which is attempted second-degree murder, and I know Mr. Mitchell's presumed innocent on that, but there is that danger of the community, and also even more important is the way in which he was arrested. He was hiding. He was allegedly hiding in an attic, for hours. Police surrounded the house. They ended up using some sort of battering ram to break into the house and find him. And I think that's the definition of a flight risk. I think that it's somebody who tried to elude capture. So I'm not sure that he would show up for a court hearing. So I'm going to leave it where it is. And I'm going to leave his bond where it is. And let's schedule a preliminary hearing. And let's do it since he is in jail. Let's try to do it as soon as we can. Which for me would be about how long do you think you'll need? Do you think this is a full day?
It's a good question, Your Honor. This is something that Mr. Ricky, I think, will likely be the primary on. We haven't had a lot of time to discuss that. It would be good if we had a full day, but I would suspect there's a decent chance we'll be able to get the majority of it done. If not, we're fortunate enough to get it done in a half.
Okay.
Mr. Slinkert, is there particular days that work better for you?
It just depends. Mondays are docket days, Wednesdays are docket days.
But
We've been doing a lot of Tuesdays and Fridays, so.
yeah, it's
Fridays are usually fairly good.
how does how does election day look on November 5th?
I'm pretty booked that day, Judge. I've got sync Zooms in the morning, then I have a prelim in the afternoon in Harper County.
I do have the entire afternoon of the 12th, that next Tuesday, open. And, you know, if we went a little bit longer, then I suppose they could just not turn the light out on us if we did that.
I have one sync Zoom in the afternoon. If I could pop out and do that, I could make that work.
I've got the full afternoon open on the 12th. And what time is your sync Zoom?
It's at 2, Your Honor.
If we started maybe a little bit earlier, like at 1, we could probably get a full witness or something like that done and have a natural breaking point.
Yeah, and then then we can take a recess any time. So Mr. Slinkert could do his hearing. I do want to get this done rather quickly. And that looks like the quickest we can do it. So why don't we set this for 1 o'clock on November 12th for preliminary hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there anything further we need to take up?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor,
Anything from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so we will see Mr. Mitchell again in November.
And I'll come over and meet with you in person, Mr. Mitchell, a couple of times between now and then.
Can I talk to you today?
You can call me later this afternoon,
Okay.
because I'm not in Kingman.
Okay, I mean, I just need to call you so I can talk to you. You said he's gonna come see me yesterday, so.
Yeah, yesterday was a crazy day, unfortunately. So.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll take up Ricky Mitchell next.
Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Mr. Mitchell, your attorney, as you see, is on the screen, but he said he'll be joining us just in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
There he is. Good afternoon, Mr. Metcalf. This is case number 2024 CR 84, State of Kansas versus Ricky Mitchell, who appears in custody via Zoom with counsel. Mr. Metcalf.
Thank you, Judge. Are you able to hear me?
I am. Thank you.
Okay. I have a message up here that says that I'm not connected to audio, so I think I'm just having some technical issues. Judge, thank you. I apologize for being late. I have a Cali County docket in person that I'm on right now, and I was in the middle of a hearing and I couldn't get out. So thank you for waiting on me, and thanks to Mr. Rich as well and Mr. Mitchell. Judge, I was able to visit with Mr. Richa regarding this case. I believe that we've agreed to a $2,000 owner cognizance bond based on a few reasons. One, the length of time that Mr. Mitchell was served in custody, and two, after review of his criminal history, it does appear that he would be in a presumptive probation range. Mr. Rich has had an opportunity to review the file. However, he's going to need some more time to watch videos and things of that nature. This would give both sides an opportunity to do that and allow Mr. Mitchell to be released from custody. If the court does grant that, I would simply ask for another status hearing date on November 13th at 1:30, if that's available for the court and counsel.
All right. And you're asking for a reduction to $2,000. You blipped out on that and I didn't hear the amount.
Your Honor, the agreement is actually for a $2,000 OR bond with pretrial services through court services. And like I said, if Mr. Mitchell couldn't hear or whatever happened there, he's been in custody for a fair amount of time, likely presumed probation case. And I'm still waiting on some videos in this matter that I'd like to review. And then I'm sure Mr. Metcalf would like to review with his client. So we all kind of agreed it made sense to modify the bond. And it should hopefully also assist Mr. Metcalf and Mr. Mitchell in communication.
Okay. All right. So, and Mr. Mitchell, I'm still kind of concerned about your ability to follow a court order, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to on the agreement of both sides, amend your bond to a $2,000 OR bond, and I'm going to order you to report to pretrial services through the court services officer. You are to follow all of his recommendations, and I'm going to give Mr. Dick, who's the court services officer, I'm going to give him arrest and detain authority, which means that he doesn't have to come to me to get a warrant if he thinks that you violated your bond. So just follow all the recommendations, follow what you need to do with Mr. Dick, and you'll be fine. But we're gonna. I want him to supervise you while you're on bond, and make sure also you have to show up for all court hearings and follow all the other recommendations of the court services officer. Do you understand all that?
Yes, sir, I do. I'll do everything if possible.
Okay. All right. And if you do that, we'll be fine. And then I'm going to set your next court hearing for November 13th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
I have a question, if it's okay with Mr. Metcalf.
Oh, the 14th. I'm sorry. It's the 14th.
Oh, sorry about that.
So yeah, that's the Thursday. So we'll set it for 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon. And Mr. Mitchell, did you say something? I'm sorry. I was looking at the calendar.
Yes, Your Honor. I was asking, was I able to go back to my home? That's
as
my
far
home residence.
Yeah, no, as far, I mean, there's no.
So, Judge, not to, I anticipate both Mr. Mitchell and Ms. Barkley having the same condition. At least that we're going to request the same after discussion with Ms. George. I would say that inevitably they're going to have contact as a married couple, and I would just ask that the bond reflect that they are just not to discuss this case.
He was just asking about going back home.
I understand, but
I didn't know what, and then I said yes, but then I thought I was wondering if there's some sort of, investigation still going on there. Are they still collecting evidence? I mean, what's the?
I do not believe there is any additional evidence or anything like that to be collected from that scene, from what I know. But I don't.
Okay.
Law enforcement doesn't tell me everything.
Oh, okay, Mr. Mitchell. As far as we know, you're free to go back home. And it sounds like I haven't heard your wife's case yet, but it sounds like she may be joining you. And there's nobody that there's nobody that's going to follow you around or anything, but I am going to order that while you're together, you not discuss this case. And like I said, nobody's listening in on your conversations. So this is on your honor. And but I will tell you, in the past, I have had cases where people thought that nobody was going to find out, and then they end up getting their bond violated for discussing the case because somebody heard them, whether you're talking, if you're talking about the Dollar General or Whites, and so I've had that happen. So the best thing to do, just don't discuss the case. And then anything you need to discuss, you can discuss with your attorney.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then we'll see you on November 14th. That is the 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
1:30.
Okay. And Mr. Metcalf, is 1:30, does 1:30 work for you with your Cali County, or would you rather have it in the morning?
No, Judge, 1:30 works. This happened to be a bad day because of the judicial conference and wanting to get Mr. Mitchell in as quick as we could.
Okay.
So I don't have the 1:30 docket every Thursday with Cali, but I had a lot of people that I wanted to get in on today because they were in custody here, and obviously Mr. Mitchell. So it just didn't work out good today.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure, I just wanted to make sure that this was working well with your schedule, and yeah, we're all backed up because of the judicial conference last week. So I appreciate it, and there's no problem with it, that you've got a busy schedule. So thank you, counsel, and Mr. Mitchell, we'll see you next month, and good luck to you.
Thank you. That's Thursday, November 14th, correct?
Yes, and we'll send you, and we'll get you the paperwork on that, so you'll have it on paper.
Okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that you understand, Your Honor, that since Mr. Metcalf is here, that if my electric is shut off, it's going to take me a little bit to get it back on. It's going to take me a little while because I've been in here and it was due. I got put in here.
Okay. Well, and what you need to do when you get out, come over and talk to your court services officer, and he's reasonable, and you can work. I'm sure you can work through anything like that.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, counsel, and we're ready for Ms. Barkley.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Mr. Richard.
Thank you.
Well, we were ready for Ms. Barkley. Hold on.
Okay.
We were ready. I know his attorney also has, I know her attorney also has, she was on here earlier, and she has a busy docket this afternoon. So if you'll just stay there, I'm going to take up a couple of other cases. And then if you'll just keep the microphone on, I'll let you know when she pops back in. Okay.
Okay, I'll take him back and I'll be right back.
Okay. Thanks. And she had called earlier and said that she's going to, and I saw her. If I'd have known that was going to take so long, I would have taken her up first. But if you want to get Ms. Barkley, her attorney is in the process of getting on here momentarily.
Okay.
Your attorney is in the process. She had some other hearings today. She's in the process of getting on. We just heard from her. So just if you'll bear with us a few minutes, we'll get you taken care of. Okay.
Okay.
We appreciate your patience.
All right.
Good afternoon, Ms. George. This is case number 2024 CR 85, State of Kansas versus Dawn Barkley, who appears in custody via Zoom with counsel. Ms. George, I understand that you may have an announcement for the court or a request.
Yes, Judge. We are requesting a agreed to OR bond motion for Miss Barkley. And in that request, it would be a $2,000 OR bond. And she would be required to report to court services pretrial while she is on bond for this case.
All right. And is that your understanding, Mr. Richa?
It is, Your Honor. Although I will mention, and Ms. George, we didn't talk about this, but it came up with co-defendant's case. We, kind of understand that they're a married couple. So having contact is inevitable. So just mentioning that they should not discuss this case as part of that bond condition, but that is accurate. And then that will allow some time for me to obtain the videos so that both myself and Ms. George, and then she can share with her client, can review that and have a better idea of how to proceed.
All right. So I'm going to grant the agreed motion and reduce your bond, Ms. Barkley, to a $2,000 OR bond. That means you don't have to put up any money to get out, but you could be liable for the $2,000 if your bond would be revoked. You are to report to court services. When you get out, you come up to the 4th floor, report to Mr. Dick, and you need to follow all of his requirements. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did to your husband, just because that I'm going to put the same. I'm going to add something to your bond as I did to your husband, because I'm still concerned about your ability to follow court orders. But so one thing I'm going to add is I'm going to give the court services officer, Mr. Dick, arrest and detain authority. And what that means is if you don't follow through with the requirements of your bond, he does not have to come back to me and get a warrant for your arrest. He can just have you arrested and put back in jail. Okay. And now if you follow everything, if you follow the requirements of your bond, if you follow what Mr. Dick puts out there, then you won't have any problem. You can, as far as we know, you can go back to your house. I would say that there's not going to be anybody listening to you. There's not going to be anybody following you around. But I'm going to put as part of the court order that you not discuss the case with your husband.
Right.
You're gonna, and nobody's going to be following you around to enforce that. That's going to be up to you. That's going to kind of be on your honor. And, but I will tell you that I have revoked bonds in the past under these similar circumstances where somebody finds out that you've been talking and reports you or something like that. As you know, this is a small town, and there's not many secrets kept in a small town. So if you, as long as you follow through with that, if you have anything to talk about the case, just talk about it with your attorney. Those conversations are privileged, and you can talk to anything else to your husband about, but just be mindful not to discuss the case. And if you do that, if you follow through, we won't have any problems. So, and then I'm going, Ms. George, does November 14th work for the next hearing for you?
It does not, Judge. I will be in trial that week on November 14th.
Okay, so what's a good, and now that your client's not going to be incarcerated, what's a good day? What's a good Thursday for you? And by the way, if you would rather appear in the morning rather than the afternoon, we could either do 9:30 in the morning or 1:30 in the afternoon.
Okay, 9:30 would work better. Let me get my calendar real quick and see what I have available, Judge.
All right.
Okay, for me, November 21st would work, Judge, or December 5th.
Okay. Why don't we go with November 21st?
Okay.
And we'll set this at 9:30 in the morning.
All right, that sounds great.
All right, and Ms. Barkley, just keep in touch with your attorney, and we'll see you next month.
And Judge, just real quick for Ms. George's benefit, at least, we exchanged potentially an order to file that would have some of the things that were ordered today. However, I was just going to let Ms. George know, the clerk is actually doing an order, like a minutes order, that will have what we discussed plus the additional order. So you shouldn't have to file what was exchanged earlier. This
Okay.
will do that. So just, yeah.
All right. And Ms. George, thanks. Thank you for taking the appointment.
Oh, yeah,
And
thank you.
we'll see you next month.
All right.
All right.
We're done.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
You should be released later.
Oh, yes. To be continued. Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.